Billings, Brant Gressel weren't on your rosters, or have they left the program?
Lance went home shortly thereafter. He got here early June, and just decided this wasn't for him. I think he's going to continue to play college football. I hope he does, and I think he's come to that conclusion now. And then Brant's going to finish up his degree. He's in engineering right now, and his plan is to finish up his degree.
How does that impact your scholarship numbers for next year?
It obviously creates two more openings, if you will. We oversight like everybody does, so we're comfortable with where we're at right now, and down the road, certainly with our needs for next year, that's expanded that list a little bit.
You still expecting around 20 in the 17th?
I think that's a safe number right now. Yeah, it could go one or two the other way, but either way. But that's probably the ballpark.
You guys threw up an advertisement for recently. Can you kind of talk about that, John, and the evolution of growing that part of your staff?
And that's another national trend, if you will, and that's probably a bigger story to me than the player development, just in that, there's analysts, or what are the other terms right now, quality control, go right on down the list,
Right.
but that's really kind of an interesting phenomenon. And some schools are really invested into that, both financially or numbers-wise. And quite frankly, I think it's one of the bigger issues coming down the road here for college football. I think somehow, some way, and I think our conference is pretty much in agreement on that we need to try to find a way to contain that, much like we've done in strength conditioning. It was an issue less than 10 years ago, and we've got that under control in a real workable situation. So I think that's something that needs to be done. On one hand, you could hire an army of people. I mean, there's always information and data to analyze, but you can argue that both ways too. Sometimes I think you can overdo things from an analytical standpoint. You can overdo things in terms of having too many voices, and so that's a decision everybody has to make. But I think certainly in college football, for the health of the game, somehow we're going to have to come to some type of a national agreement on what the right numbers are. What you pay people, that's your own issue. But
there are certain schools that kind of unlimited on that. I think you just referenced that.
But budget-wise and number-wise.
Yeah. What are the advantages as a head coach to that? If you see somebody with 15 of those guys, and you've got one or two.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. That's some people have 150,000 seat stadiums, and I'm exaggerating, but others don't. But again, I think numbers first and foremost. Who's on the field coaching? I think that really needs to be monitored and probably regulated and enforced. And I'm not sure that's going on nationally, quite frankly. And then beyond that, the people in the office. And it's interesting. I think I just read an article where the Patriots have the smallest staff in the NFL right now, and I think there's probably some wisdom in that. Steelers probably did back in the 70s. Because, in reality, how many people really need to use a game? One of the things, phenomenon, some people are doing this with analysts, where they'll have former head coaches, former coordinators actually doing game plans a week ahead of the schedule, and then presenting that to the coordinators on Sunday. And I know me personally, I'd like to start fresh, and I like to make my own opinions and make my own conclusions, whether it's evaluating a player or a prospect, a player on our team, or an opponent. So it's just there's give and take. The information's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing, but I think it can be overdone too.
So you guys are right now one analyst that's going to be